Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
And welcome back with just a few more moments, a few minutes rather, remaining before the top of the hour and before we wrap up. We've got one really important story to cover, and that is with regards to gender based violence. Now, the Tears Foundation, which is an organization that offers free national and survivor centered services, has revealed that over the festive season, there seems to be an increase in gender based violence. And when you look at the stats for 2020, which was just last year, we see that the foundation received 42,962 calls for help for gender based violence. And this, they said, was an increase of 57% from November 2020 and a 117% increase from October of the same year. So this seems to be quite a severe challenge in South Africa. And I think it's something that we really need to speak about, which is exactly what we're going to be doing now. And we're joined now by a GBV survivor and an activist, Norma Veldsman. Good morning, ma'am, and welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for the introduction. Yes, I am a GBV survivor. It has been a remarkable journey, and I would love to be able to encourage all your audiences out there.
Right, Norma, I mean, before we get right into it, I just want to hear from you, your thoughts. I mean, you've been working as a volunteer at a local NPO in your area, which is Amanzimtoti, south of Durban, and you've been working as a volunteer with this organization. So I'm sure you've been working with GBV survivors as well and victims. Have you noticed an increase in such cases?
Yes, there is definitely an increase. A lot of awareness needs to be projected out into all communities. I'm also the treasurer for Community Police Forum, so very much on the ground, and we try to get involved in every aspect of GBV.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so we noticed such a trend during the COVID-19 lockdown last year, during level 5, and in fact, the government even introduced a few measures to assist with the increase in gender-based violence due to the nature of the circumstances. And I think we find ourselves in a similar situation now during the holidays when everyone's at home from work. How do you what tips have you got for women who are at home and might need to stay safe from their partner, unfortunately?
Okay, so we have got a couple of hotlines in place. So instead of reinventing the wheel, there are GBV hotline numbers that people can call into. Not just women, but men as well, children as well. So we've got the GBV hotline, we've got the Rape Crisis Center. Obviously, your SAPS as well is very much on board. And there's also helplines for shelters.
Mm. All right. So I think when you are working on the ground, right, you are seeing people who are being affected daily. Do you think these helplines have been working?
That's a little bit of a tricky question. I think the challenge is possibly that women are not saving these numbers, which would take me to safety tips. You know, people need to save these numbers to their phones, put it on speed dial, and it would be viable for them to get help as quickly as possible by having the numbers on their phones.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Could you perhaps share with us your final thoughts before I let you go?
I'm sorry, please repeat the question.
No, I mean, I was just asking you, so we've got a few moments left before we wrap up. Might you have any final thoughts for the listeners?
Yes, I would like to hand you over to Debbie. She is the CEO, and I would like her to wrap it up. Thank you. Hold on a second.
Hi
No
there.
problem. Thank you.
Yes, I think final thoughts are that we shouldn't just have the 16 days of activism over November, December period, but that we should make this campaign throughout the year, and we should continuously be punching and pushing GBV throughout the year, having a lot more workshops on these issues and what the people are experiencing. And we need to jack up our hotlines and our SATs and our crisis centres so that this issue is very well spoken about and very well marketed in terms of safety for all male and female children, because it happens across the board. It just so happens that the women are mostly targeted and the children. But it does happen across the board, and we need to make that awareness get out there and be in people's faces so they know that this is a serious crisis in our country.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
That was Debbie, the CEO of USIZO NPO, an organization working with victims of gender-based violence. And before that, we're also speaking to Norma Veldsman, a victim and let's rephrase that. Let's say a survivor of gender-based violence, speaking to us about how you can actually stay safe during the holiday period, especially once you are now at home from work. And so sharing a few tips. Example, you can Norma, as Norma stressed quite a bit. It is very important to save the hotline numbers, etc., so that you can get assistance as soon as you need it. But that's where we're going to leave that for now. Thank you so much to all of you who have tuned in and stuck around with us for the duration of the show. And to those of you who've also contributed via our social media platforms, Twitter @SalamMedia, WhatsApp 061 766 0355. We look forward to hearing from you every day. And be sure to tune in to this News Infused with myself, Zahid Jadwat, standing in for Julie Ali, up until Friday this week, between 8 and 10 a.m. I'm going to wrap up with something which I think I should really share with everyone, is the words of my mentor, who says, make it your mission to make someone else's day great. But for myself and the team, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.